Joy News Prime.
This is Joy News Prime, where we bring you all the news that's news in Ghana and beyond. Welcome. My name is Israel Lai. Coming up, Supreme Court Justice Jones Joche maintains recent ruling on removal of NHIS registrants from voters' register is unambiguous, insisting the names of such persons must be deleted from the roll. But a member of the NDC's legal team has condemned the remarks by the justice and challenged his claims. Inspector General of Police says the administration is considering plans to block access to social media on election day to avert the possibility of anarchy ensuing from misinformation propagated via that medium. Minority in Parliament questions loan request by state oil firm Ghana National Petroleum Corporation after it emerged it has allocated millions of cedis from its budget to some state and private institutions. The Speaker has subsequently summoned the Petroleum Minister to appear before the House to explain.
And in business, electronic money transfer account holders come from next month expect some interest on the funds in their account as the Bank of Ghana inches up to regulate the operations.
Now, after raising the hopes of the country by being the first ever Ghanaian finalist in the Scripps Spelling Bee, 14-year-old Efua Ansan has crashed out of the competition after misspelling Liechtenstein. We'll also bring you news on Black Stars defender John Paintsel, who has been granted bail after his latest brush with the law. There'll also be sports, entertainment, and Joy News Interactive. Joy News Prime is also available across Europe on London-based ABN television station. Now, first story, the Petroleum Minister has been summoned to appear in Parliament to explain discrepancies in the allocation of funds to some state and private institutions in the 2016 work plan of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. This was after it emerged that the state oil company requires a loan of $350 million to meet a funding gap this year. Some MPs, however, raised objection to the loan request, questioning why the same corporation in dire need of funds is essentially splashing money around.
A report by the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament concludes GNPC bailed out the Tema Oil Refinery with $58 million, provided $100 million guarantee to ECG in the car power deal, and a further $33 million to Ghana Gas Company for its activities. According to the GNPC, it requires $2.6 billion to enable it meet its plans of activities this year, but Parliament approved only 799.9 million cedis for their operations. They argue it needs to raise additional loan to bridge the funding gap. Ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Anthony Akotose, says the situation does not support GNPC quest to go in for a loan.
This person who needs 2 billion goes and gives $100 million to ECG. Is it a loan?
53 to talk. 53 to talk.
And guarantee for what? Is GNPC ECG to guarantee for car power? That is the point. Is that the score mandate? Then you have a deficit. Then you give 58 million to talk. And you say you need money. Does it make sense to you?
33 to Ghana Gas.
It gives 33 to Ghana Gas. Does it make sense to you? Then you turn around and you have to go and borrow $750 million. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Whip, does it make sense to you? Is that how you run your family?
But Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee, Alhaji Amadou Sorogo, says the money given out by GNPC will be treated as a loan to be paid back by the beneficiaries' institutions.
Mr. Speaker, there's one thing that I want to make clear, and I hope Honorable Doctor will listen. He was talking about giving out 100 million, giving out 8 million, and yet saying that you are looking for more money. The amount that is mentioned has been taken care. as if it is revenue. It is not free money.
The first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Abel Barton Odro, suspended debate on the report and directed the Petroleum Minister be summoned to the House to provide answers to the concerns raised by MPs. But one key issue that raised eyebrow in the report is disclosure by GNPC about its intention to construct a new head office in Accra. Ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Katie Hammond, tells parliamentary correspondent Elton Brobe GNPC is spending more than approved by the Parliament.
It's mandated or required by that Act to bring its program of activities to Parliament for approval. Essentially, we need to know what exactly GNPC is up to, what GNPC is doing within any particular year. I mean, we know the exploration activities in the Jubilee area, the TEN area, the Sankofa, the Boteyan, and all those other things. So we need to know. I think it's also to keep the excesses of GNPC. You know, in the time gone by, GNPC would be doing all sorts of things that ultimately became a problem for government. So precaution has been taken that GNPC must bring their program of activities. Parliament should scrutinize and make sure that they are focused on their core functions and activities. That really is the basis of the report.
Still in Parliament, and the House is demanding the firmness from the police and the judicial service in prosecuting criminal cases, whether motivated by political, religious or tribal consideration. The House is worried recent armed robbery cases, activities of nomadic herdsmen and ethnic clashes could spill over into the election if steps are not taken to address it. Ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee, Derek Odro, wants government to resource the police and military to play their roles effectively.
What happens if we cannot dominate or occupy the place or provide security for the people through personnel or the personnel of the security agencies? We need to acquire early warning devices, early warning surveillance devices supposed to be put everywhere. Go to our borders are porous. Right. So you can pass anywhere, enter. Why can't we, the money that we the number of loans that we have contracted, why can't we have some part being amount that is used to acquire early warning devices?
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Police in Accra have rounded up 178 suspected criminals after a swoop in some parts of the capital. The swoop was conducted on Wednesday at what the police describe as possible hideouts of the suspects. Public Relations Officer of the Accra Region Command, ASP Efia Tenge, tells Joy News the suspects will be released after they have been screened and found to be innocent.
First since the beginning of the year was under the direction of the new regional commander, ACP Timothy Bonga Yosa. According to the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Police, ASP Efia Tenge, some of the items found on the suspected criminal include unregistered motorbikes, cutlasses, marijuana, and cartridges. The suspects, she explained, will be screened and those with any incriminating evidence will be sent to court. She said the swoops are conducted in areas where people normally report of snatching of bags, mobile phones, and other valuables. She explained that some of the people picked up during the swoop were people on the police wanted lists.
This was done by organization of operational swoops across the breadth and width of the metropolis. So all the divisional commanders, all the unit commanders, every one of us had to go to the various criminal hideouts where we suspect we will have these criminals. And as part of our swoop, we were able to arrest over 178 suspected criminals. Apart from that, we had over 200 motorbikes. Most of them are unregistered. And even those that have even been registered, they even had fake registration number plates and what have you. We also had pump action, that is 2 pump action weapons, together with a number of cartridges, dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp, We also had some laptops from some foreign nationals we arrested. Then again, we had some box of seeds that the police strongly suspect was marijuana. And with all these, the suspects that we have arrested, we are going to screen all of them. And those we find in our criminal records, those people, we shall prosecute them for court accordingly. It has been very, very successful exercise, and we hope to continue with this exercise. And it is the duty of the region, and as you have seen, to see that we clear the metropolis of criminals who continue to disturb us and who have vowed that they will not let us sleep.
Meanwhile, former Black Stars defender John Pencil has been granted police inquiry bail by the Accra Region Police. He was expected to be put before court on Thursday, charged with theft, offensive conduct and assault of a police officer. Mr. Pencil was detained after assaulting the Legon District Police Commander and allegedly stealing his wife's vehicle. Public Relations Officer of the Accra Region Command, Efia Tenge, tells Joy News they were unable to process him for court due to the JUSAC strike.
Not sitting, we all know they are on strike, and he has been granted to bail. So we are expecting that in due course, when the courts start sitting, the police would also proceed to the court for the issue to be brought before the court.
So what are the terms of this bail? Has you already met the bail?
It is a police inquiry bail.
Okay. Let's be clear. Has he been charged already?
Of course. The stealing aspect that was earlier reported to the police. Then again, the causing harm and assault that was meted on the police officer.
So, I mean, do we know whether tomorrow you'll be able to take him to court?
I said he has been granted bail.
Yes.
So we are all hoping that the courts will start sitting. Then we'll proceed from there.
So
Right, can't break now, but we have some more stories coming up on the bulletin for you, so please stay tuned. Supreme Court Judge Justice Jones Doche has rejected suggestions the recent ruling of the court ordering the removal of the names of voters who registered with NHIS cards was unclear. His comments should settle a raging controversy after the Electoral Commission last week said its understanding of the judgment had nothing to do with removing NHIS card registrants. Speaking to some journalists on Thursday, Justice Jones Doche stated that the Supreme Court was clear enough in its ruling.
I don't want to interpret the judgment, but as you claim you heard it, the Supreme Court was quite forthright and clear that the use of the NHIS cards is unconstitutional because the criteria for the NHIS card was not based on Ghanaian citizenship, but only on residence in Ghana. So any foreigner who is resident in Ghana for 6 months and more can register under the NHIS cards. That was the basis upon our decision in 2014. And the recent one, we said the use of the NHIS cards is therefore unconstitutional. They should take the opportunity to clean the register of those undesirable persons. Therefore, we also did not want to disenfranchise anybody. So the Supreme Court went on to say anybody who will be affected by that exercise must be given the opportunity to register according to the law and the Constitution. That period. That's it.
And the EC is saying that's not the direct the instruction from
as I said, I don't want to interpret the judgment. If anybody is aggrieved, then they should come back to the court.
But a member of the NDC's legal team, Abraham Amaleba, has condemned the remarks by the Supreme Court judge and is challenging his claims. He reacted to his comments on Joy FM's top story.
It's unethical for a judge to come out in the open to discuss his own judgment. In what capacity was Justice Doche making those comments? Was he commenting as a member of the panel, or he was commenting as a political commentator. I think that what he did borders on the ethics of the profession, and I do not think that it was within his purview to be inviting litigants to come to court. What does he think if, in the final analysis, they go to court and his ruling in that matter, what he has just said? How will people take it? I think that he has brought himself into, and for me,
you say he's brought himself into
disrepute, and for me, it does not lie in his mouth to interpret the constitution, to interpret the ruling. His ruling, he said, was unambiguous. So the point is this: he's just one of the panel members, and his view cannot be the view of the entire court. And I do not think that it is true that because he has come to say this, then that is a ruling of the court. There were other judges who sat on the matter, and his interpretation remains his interpretation and not the ruling of the judge, the court.
You should point out what aspects of the ethics has he breached?
A judge, and if he wants me to quote a section of a law, I am not in a position to do it now, but I can tell you that it is not discreet, as it were, for a judge to openly come out and make such statements as if to suggest that the EC refused to abide by the ruling. The EC accepted the ruling. The EC indicated that it was going to go ahead to remove names of people who have registered with an NHI card, but it will do so in accordance with the applicable law, because that's what the Supreme Court said. And he was part of the panel, that the removal should be done in accordance with the applicable law. Which is the applicable law? That's CI 91. The EC said it was going to use Regulation 26 to achieve that end.
Now, the Supreme Court has dismissed a case in which two judges implicated in the judicial corruption scandal are challenging a decision by the Chief Justice to slash their salaries. Justice Paul Utah-Derry and A.C. Addo joined forces to file the Chief Justice, the Controller and Accountant General, and 5 other government institutions in court for reducing their salaries by half. Joy News' Raymond Akwa was in court and filed this report.
Justice Paul Utah-Derry and A.C. Addo dragged the Chief Justice, the Controller Accountant General, and 5 other government institutions to court for slashing their salaries by half. The Judicial Council slashed their salaries and that of 10 other High Court judges following a judicial scandal in September 2015. The accused judges were captured on video allegedly receiving bribes from undercover journalists posing as family and friends of suspects and litigants. The conduct of the judges became the subject of an inquiry by the Judicial Council, which is yet to conclude its work, but they are not going down without a fight. In their writ filed at the Supreme Court, they argue that the letters which suspend the payment of their allowances, except for rent, is inconsistent with and in contravention of Article 1275 of the 1992 Constitution and therefore unconstitutional, null and void. Justice Derry and A.C. Addo then sought an order nullifying such decisions taken by the Judicial Council. But in court proceedings on Thursday, the Apex Court dismissed the suit and announced it will give its reasons in 1 week.
In other news, Inspector General of Police John Kodalo has announced the Ghana Police Service is considering blocking access to social media across the country on Election Day as part of measures to ensure a violent-free poll. He is worried social media has become a tool for misinformation with the potential to plunge the country into anarchy during the polls. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo has more.
The Inspector General of Police met media practitioners in Accra Thursday to discuss ongoing preparations to ensure violence-free elections. He told the media blacking out Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms is a common practice across the world on election days, and the move is among several options being discussed by the police and relevant stakeholders.
as other countries have done. So we are thinking about it. And also the other alternative that is also the police will also be IT compliance by trying to get this our social media to be able to counteract this on time. So we are looking at the variables. And come D-Day, we shall come out with a decision.
But President of the Ghana Journalists Association and other journalists present criticized the proposal and asked the police to withdraw it.
On social media, we humbly appeal to him not to go there. Because social media are the cousins of the traditional media. So that we rely on them for pegs and for tips to do our stories. So we beg him to not even contemplate banning social media. But his outfit can do something to at least regulate, which is highly impossible, attempt to regulate socially determined content.
The IGP further defended his proposal when I caught up with him after the media interaction. He says the security of the country must be paramount above everything else.
What I'm saying is that we are going to consider a series of alternatives for the D-Day, the day of the voting. And we're looking at what the terrain will be if it demands that that day there should not be a race. That has been done in other areas where it has been successful. Why not?
Wouldn't that be an infringement on our right to free speech, our right to free expression, and even modernity in general?
I think it should not be so, because it has been tried in other economies. I mean, the mention the security of this.
Some say this happened only in Iran and Syria and also when.
No, there have been other African countries have tried it.
When leaders are not democratic enough.
No, I don't think so. Security of every nation is paramount to every other thing.
And there are
so if the person, that's what I'm saying, that if during or before we find that the escape is convenient, why not? We still go ahead. We've not tried it. But if people are churning out the type of things and this information that we are having on the media, which are quite false, and we feel that it can cite, why not? The security of this nation is paramount to every other thing. So saying that it's this, I don't see another here or there. It's for even less than 24 hours. Well, let's start from 7 to 5 o'clock. And that is one of the alternatives, as my PRO said. We are also looking at others where we can meet those who are going to do for good by activating our social media system, which has gone moribund for some time now.
Concerns were also raised about a number of political-related violence which have gone unpunished several years down the line, fueling impunity. But Director General of Police CID, Prosper Ablo, blames the Office of the Attorney General for the trend. He says their investigations have been concluded, but the AG is yet to prosecute.
Follow those cases to the letter. And as you are aware, somebody in the very first questionnaire raised that issue. All electoral offenses are prosecuted by the Attorney General. So the law says that all dockets involving electoral offenses should be forwarded to the Attorney General's department. So the police, what we do is we do the investigation, and when we are done with the investigation, we forward the dockets to the Attorney General's department. So you don't have to blame the police for not following cases involving politicians to the letter when it comes to electoral offenses.
Inspector General of Police John Kudalo said they will act on the issues once the Office of the Attorney General issues the necessary advice.
As someone rightly said, we the police have arrested several those who have infringed the law. But you know, there's a problem. We have to send it to the AG's department for advice and then also for prosecution. And that's where things have been batched up, but all over the country. If they give us a go ahead, we'll do it. But after arrest, we've done so several times. I remember in the Akotia by-elections, I was there myself, we had a lot of arrests made. We sent the papers and they are still waiting. I don't know there's a special dispensation for electoral district. I feel that every crime is a crime and must be dealt with in the same way, no matter from which divide you come from. And that's exactly what we are going to do.
Well, staying with the police, they say they are stepping up security at the country's borders as part of measures to deal with the influx of arms and ammunition ahead of the November elections. The police in the last year have intercepted arms in Accra, Kumasi, Aflao, Bogotanga and other places. And the IGP, John Kudalo, says they are working to curb the influx of arms ahead of the elections.
The infiltration of arms and our borders, yes, we've re-strategized with the military and then the police supporting the immigration service. We have got teams which are patrolling the borders. Unfortunately, we have a lot of porous borders. We are doing our best, but in this regard, we shall also depend upon the citizenry. You know, policing is a shared responsibility. We cannot do it alone, as the General has said over and over again. Our arms cannot reach everywhere. Our arms are not enough. So the rich cannot go anywhere. So in this way, I always praise the developed economies. Anybody who sees something unusual in the place that is not supposed to be, quickly calls the police. So in these trying times, we also expect the citizenry and the media to do the same, to alert the police whenever they find anything not in its rightful place. We are doing our best, of course, but it can only be complemented and made successful by your efforts also to support us.
Director in charge of Police Administration, COP Rose Boateng, described as frightening the influx of these arms and ammunition, but said they are on top of the situation.
Are locally manufactured weapons. They don't come from outside. That is also very frightening. You all know of Alabanyo, Magazi, Nkumase, Western region, Ashama. Those are our challenges, because what internally is manufactured, we cannot quantify. And that is what mostly is used to commit robberies and what have you. So as media personnel, if you get wind of such, factories, because most of them, the factories are in the bush, you let us know.
Well, Director in charge of Police CID, COP Prosper Aglo, has been downplaying concerns there have been increased influx of arms and ammunition into the country this year.
All weapons that are imported officially into the country, I'm aware. I'm aware, because it is the Minister of Interior who gives permits for the importation of weapons. But when he gives those permits, he gives me a copy. And when the weapons arrive at the port, they will apply to take delivery of those weapons, and they will attach the minister's permit to the application, and it comes to me. So far this year, what we have had is cartridges. There's a difference between cartridges and weapons. People mistake cartridges for weapons. Cartridges are the ammunition, what we use in the weapons. Yes, people have bought guns, shotguns, and they will need cartridges, like hunters, they need cartridges. So from time to time, they give them licenses to import cartridges. But when it comes to the weapons, this year, I don't think anybody has been given any license to import any weapon into the country. There was a time something went viral on the social media that a container had arrived with a full load of weapons. But when we trailed, the person had all the necessary documentation, and they were only cartridges. They were only cartridges. So when you import it and it arrives in the country, it will be, even when on the plane, you are supposed to even declare it to the pilot. They have a place they'll keep it. When it arrives, customs are supposed to keep it at the port of entry. Then we'll be informed, it will be licensed for you before you'll be allowed to take possession of it. So with pistols, it is only individuals who can import. But with shotguns, we have licensed dealers who import and sell them on the local market. But the assertion that there's an increase in the importation of weapons into the country, I hold a different opinion. Yes, we may have smuggled ones. We may have smuggled ones. People do smuggle. But any time that it comes to our attention, we seize them. We seize them. I hope I've answered the...
Yes, let me add. Yes,
Now, somebody talked about the proliferation of arms, and then added that the police are conniving with arms dealers. If you are aware of any such case, you let us know. and we'll deal with the person.
The IGP, who has also been speaking on general plans ahead of the election, says mobilization of personnel and equipment has begun. You're watching Joy News Prime. We'll be bringing you business news next, but still to come in the bulletin. After raising the hopes of the country by being the first ever Ghanaian finalist in the Scripps Spelling Bee, 14-year-old Efwansa has unfortunately crashed out of the competition after misspelling Liechtenstein.
Unique.
Up next is business after the break. All right, so John Amwaku, you can call him the money man. He's here to give us business news. Good evening to you,
Good
John.
evening, Israel.
Your name kind of rhymes with money, or John Money Amwaku.
Exactly.
What's coming up in business?
Business actually from next month, those who actually own mobile money accounts should expect some interest paid on the account, like actually happens in the mainstream banking industry.
All right.
So exactly, it was some regulation passed by the central bank last year, but it takes effect from next month. So if you have, let's say, a mobile money account, whatever it is that you have as balance sitting in your wallet would actually attract some interest.
Right, so I heard this, and I'm beginning to think that there would be proving to be some competition for the traditional banks.
Exactly so, but the irony is that they work in partnership with them because they actually ride behind or buy the licenses of the commercial banks to actually do that. With other commercial banks, that no telco would independently have that right to actually transact.
Because
that
then
business.
I'm imagining if the telcos are keeping my mobile money deposits with the banks, they'll be getting interest from the banks.
From the banks.
And yet they also have to pay me.
Exactly. They share that interest with you. That's exactly what is happening. And I think the ratio, it's I think 75, 15, or 25.
Okay.
So if you're 25 for the telcos and then 75 for you, the account holder.
Well, that wouldn't be bad at all. Anyway,
exactly.
You take it away.
Thank you very much, Ezra. And from next month, electronic mobile money account holders can from next month expect some interest on the funds in the account. The Bank of Ghana said it is inching closer to enforcing the regulations that enjoins operators of the electronic money transfer services to pay interest on such funds, which are seen as investment. Head of Payment Systems at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Seto Amedeku, tells Joy Business the BOG is taking all the necessary steps to ensure subscribers are not shortchanged.
Two of the mobile money operators have submitted their proposal to Bank of Ghana for approval on how they intend to distribute the interest they earn on the e-money. One is at the final stage, and we want a practical demonstration before we will give a go-ahead for distribution of the interest. All mobile money subscribers who were mobile money account holders as at the beginning of 1st January 2016 will be duly paid their interest when the distribution starts.
So the interest to be paid in retrospect, right?
Yes. We have issued letters to all the participating banks and all the mobile money operators to start paying interest from 1st January 2016. So subscribers will not lose on the interest that they are due to be paid. June is a deadline we give to all mobile money operators. So we expect very soon the two that are advanced stage, after their demonstration to the central bank in the fairness distribution of the interest, they will start distributing the interest to the mobile money account holders.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. And the Volta regional executives of the opposition New Patriotic Party have hinted rolling out strategies seeking to secure 30% of valid votes cast for the MPP in the region during the November 7 elections. The strategy, dubbed Agenda 330, also aims at securing 3 parliamentary seats in the region for the MPP. This was announced at a news conference at the Volta regional headquarters at Ho on Thursday.
Speaking at the press conference, the regional NPP secretary, Joseph Omenya, said the party's executives are solidly on the ground working tirelessly to achieve the Agenda 330. He mentioned that the party has already achieved one of its targets by preventing the NDC from adding names of Togolese nationals to the voters' register. He was optimistic that with the current caliber of the party's regional leadership, the objective of the Agenda 330 will be accomplished to give the NDC the shock of its life.
The brain that is at work now, you can see the difference during the limited registration time. I met few of the NDC executives and the chief executives who told me in person, shook hands with me and said, seriously, Secretary, I have taken us by surprise. We didn't prepare for this. The level of matching and ensuring that the right things are done during the limited registration testify that all their plans, at least 70% of their plan to bring the Togolese down to write their name, were able to stop them from doing such things. So I'm assuring the House that with the caliber of leadership we have now, we put our heads together. We have solid plan to do for the region, which we call Agenda 330. So we are prepared in the mind, psychologically, physically, to prosecute the campaign, and we have what it takes to call the shots we are talking about by getting more votes for NPP in the Volta region.
The regional chairman, John Peter Amewu, was grateful to chiefs and people of the region for giving Nanado an overwhelming welcome and disputed claims by the NDC that residents were bussed from elsewhere to welcome the party's flag bearer. He urged people of the region to support the MPP and vote for Nana Akufo-Addo to enable him build on the legacy of ex-President Kufuor. Mr. Amewu, however, reminded the Inspector General of Police of his call to investigate an alleged assault incident on him by Superintendent Theodore Holome at Metrikasa in the Akachi North District of the region during the limited voter registration exercise.
We want to use this opportunity and platform to remind the Inspector General of Police, the IGP, who is also a son of the land, that the Volta Regional Party is still anxiously waiting for the investigations that led and the circumstances that led to the police patrol vehicle from Accra driving to a registration center, carrying registration equipment and heading to Republic of Togo. The IGP is a son of this land, and we believe that the professionalism that the IGP is going to bring to bear on the police will depend largely to a large extent on how the outcome of this investigation being arrived at.
Fred Kwame Asari's report for
First ever finalist in the acclaimed Scripps National Spelling Bee competition, 14-year-old Ifuansa of Richchurch crashed out of the first stage of the grand finale in the United States of America on Thursday. She was one of 177 to spell both words correctly and made it into the final 45 to compete for the global prize. Unfortunately, she could not make it. Java tells Joy News it has been a great experience.
It feels amazing to finally make it to the finals in the Scripps, because this is the first time for Ghana in the past 9 years. And so, well, at the moment, we're only hoping for the best.
The organizer of the Spelling Bee in Ghana, Junior Techi Menson, also tells Joy News this achievement is proof Ghanaian children can learn and be the best on the global stage as ambassadors. And that'll be up for the local news. We'll bring you entertainment next. Right, so my JNI savior is now back doing entertainment, or staying with entertainment. Good evening to you. I almost said Aisha.
I know.
So
I'm just taking my time to hear what you say anyway. But unfortunately today I'm not standing.
Yeah. For those of you who've been waiting and looking forward to having a stand.
No, Tundra is back. This is La Paz Toyota. I'm not standing. Anyway,
La Paz Toyota.
La Paz Toyota. Tundra is back on the road.
Please,
you know.
you're more than La Paz Toyota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can call yourself Baby Tundra or something.
Okay, hey,
or mini Tundra.
Okay, that's nicer anyway. All right, so you know that a lot of people haven't seen Nadi Buhari on the screens, you know, after she went, you know, giving birth, You know, if she had twins, we were all excited.
Yeah, well, she had twins. She was keeping everybody else. She was keeping it away from all of us.
Though we still do not know who the father is. Did
Yeah.
I say that? No, I didn't. Anyway, but, you know, she was at the Golden Movie Awards, yes, on Tuesday. Yes, there was a holiday, so on Tuesday. And
which one is the Golden Movie Awards?
Oh, the Golden Movie Awards is spearheaded by Mimi of Big Brother Africa. She's the, like, more of an ambassador here in Ghana. She spearheads it here, or she fronts it here.
Also, it's an international competition, and we have a local franchise.
Exactly. And this year we have Nadia Buhari as one of the ambassadors for the award. And Ibrahim Bembako caught up with her, spoke to her about how come we haven't seen her in a while on the screens. Her answer would marvel you, though.
I haven't. I never did. I actually just finished shooting my second movie, and it's called Deranged. It's a psychological thriller. I just literally just finished shooting it, so hopefully it should be out in November.
Psychological thriller. That's very different from what you normally do.
Extremely different. You see, the thing is, I've always wanted to do different things, and the scripts that come to me, for me, are not really challenging.
Yeah, it looks to me she's put on quite a bit.
Yeah, well, you know, after having
or it could be the cameras.
No, not the cameras. She's
put on.
Yeah,
she's in the put
yeah,
on.
yeah. But are you surprised by the comment she made that the roles she gets these days are not challenging? You know, really? Anyway.
Who am I to say?
I'm not sure the producers and directors will be happy with this comment. But let's go to Eddie Nate, still on the Golden Movie Awards. His movie, The Beautiful Ruins. Beautiful Ruins. He had picked 7 nominations, and then Royal Diadem picked 4 nominations. So in all, he got 11 nominations.
Oh, okay. So he starred in both movies.
No, he was the director. They were his productions, and you know, Eddie Nate has come along like under a lot of criticism. People say that he was an actor. We never saw him do any directorial course, if there's anything like that, and all of a sudden he becomes a director. But he's been answering questions about becoming a director. He has been faced with a lot of issues, people taking off their production from him, and so he said, look, this actually is what I've been waiting for.
It's a vindication of it.
Exactly what he told Ibrahim Bembako.
Matter of fact, after I directed my very first 2 movies, I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to do something that people would know that I'm good at this thing, directing thing I say I want to do. Okay, it was not just so. I set out Beautiful Ruins from my own camp, from my own production, so that I would do it so that other producers can see that this is how far I can go.
When you're shooting, when you're working on the movie, did you have awards at the back of your mind?
Did I have what?
Awards.
Well, for this particular one, yes, I had awards at the back of my mind. I wanted to do something clean, something that can go for awards like this. It's not just about the money. Sometimes you need to be recognized for what you're doing. So I took my time. Guess what? This film took me over a year to do. I remember during post-production, they'll fix all the sound and everything. I'll go watch it. I'm like, no, I need something here. There's something I need here. I don't like this one. Then I'll go back and change it. I'll go back to the sound studio. They'll do another thing. I'll take it to the editor and we'll just do it. I kept doing back and forth, back and forth. Awards really encourages the filmmaker to do something better because you know that you're going to contest or be in a competition with a lot of movies that are of great quality. So,
I want you to marry Emeji. I'm sorry, I can't.
I've told you everything about me. You know every struggle I've got.
All right, time for Prime Sports, and Gary R. Smith is in charge. He takes over now. Good evening to you, Gary.
Good evening, Israel. And you, the fans of Heart of Folk, today are laughing on the wrong side of your mouth.
So what? We lost?
Charlie, that's not way, pal. Yeah, you lost.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but even Leicester City
lost a few games.
Yeah.
Okay, but you are not Leicester City. That's the thing.
It's okay. So if we lose, we won 1 game.
Yeah.
We'll pick up the next.
I mean, yesterday Kotoko lost, Adriana lost, so it was a great opportunity for Heart of Folk to be able to go. But today you are second because Wild Stars are ahead on goal difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm.
We'll recover.
Okay, all right. The director is saying in my ear that while All Stars are the new Leicester City. Welcome to the Sport on Prime. Hi, I'm Gary Al Smith, and like I said, there were two matches, to finish match day 14 of the Ghana Premier League, outstanding matches, and we'll show you the results shortly. Hearts of Oak in Accra. Now, the important thing for Hearts fans is that the home bans that they are observing are done. This was the second of the 2 home match bans slapped on them by the disciplinary committee of the Ghana Football Association, and they lost against Liberty. Liberty were the better team by far, by every stretch of the imagination, and Kenichi Achuhachi has come under some criticism for his selection, but well, we'll deal with that in a bit. Dreams FC also went away to win a new Edubiase, and importantly, after this game, the boss of Edubiase, Abdul Salam Yakubu, says he is quitting football because of financial constraints and also some challenges in putting his teams together, refereeing decisions, and so on and so forth. We've heard this kind of thing from team CEOs before, and we don't know whether he will carry through. He actually says that he's not going to honor his match day 15 fixture, and we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, things are happening in the league. On My Joy Online, if you go there, you can see this story. Kenichi walks out of the post-match presser after Hearts lost to Liberty Professionals. If we go down, you can see the photo there. If we could lessen the screen a bit. Yep. So this is the scene. Now, this journalist, you can see on the left, is not supposed to be standing here. So Kenichi, as you can see in this photo, is telling the journalist to move. And nope, look at the picture, please. To move, and the journalist did not move. So that was the first thing that angered him. The second thing was that the journalist, this was about the 5th press conference in a row that journalists were asking Kenichi about the star midfielder called Samudeen Ibrahim. Now, Samudeen Ibrahim was the best player in Division 1 last season, and he was supposed to be Hearts' new talisman this season. However, he got injured on the first match day, and now that he's match fit, Hearts supporters want to see him, but they cannot see him on the field. And he says that he'll field the player when he feels that it is right. So consistent questioning led him to leave the press conference, and we'll get more reaction later.
And indeed, that'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Uzwala. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.
This is Joy News Prime.